Hey guys, so I'm 75% done with The Henna Artist. This book is a historical fiction set in 1950s India. I wish it came with some trigger warnings. Now I am listening to it on Ibby. I don't know if there's trigger warnings in the actual book, but there weren't when I started listening to this. There are running themes of abortion and adoption and classism, colonization, imperialism, colorism, racism, misogyny, so much. I mean, okay, yes, it was the 1950s, but like, what our female protagonist is going through and what her sister is. Oh, also trigger warning for grape. And it's not very spicy, which is fine. I like spice, but I don't think it needs to be in this book. Just to say, there was one scene that was somewhat spicy, but I wouldn't even say it was that much. I'm at the point in this book where if you want to turn off because you don't want things given away, please go ahead and do so and come back. My full review will be on my website as of probably either tonight or tomorrow. So, samename.com. All right? Disney Coffee, Booktok.com. Anyway, so this might be a little bit revealing of what's going on in the book. Like I said, I'm only 75% done. So, the 13-year-old sister is currently pregnant, and she is under the guardianship of the big sister, who wasn't around for her when she was young. That's trauma in itself. But the big sister wants her to have an abortion. The 13-year-old said no. She wants to keep the baby. Okay, her choice. Her body, her choice, right? I'm pro-choice. But then the older sister and the father, the grandpa of the baby, so the father's father, make a decision for her that they would be placing the baby with the royal family. Now, the only reason the baby would be going to the royal family is because the baby has royal blood via the father's side. And apparently in India, the royal family adopts a lot of children. However, there was no consideration of how the 13, aka the birth mother, would feel, per se, like a very small little bit. But also, I'm going to give props to the author that there were some points that said, there's trauma, that, adoption is problematic, and yet she still went with it. At least to this point, right? The fact that in this royal contract, it states that the child will have no contact with the birth parent. I have to remind myself this is 1950s, right? Even though it's in India. But, I'm trying not to be triggered as an adoptee. I will be honest with you guys. I've had to take a lot of pauses with this book. Like I said, it's very well written. But I'm struggling. Even with the abortion part, I'm not as bad with it. Like I said, I'm pro-choice if this is what they want. But to have so much misogyny around it, there's just a lot, and I can't speak for how India is. I've never been there. I'm obviously not from there. But a lot of the same issues we see here in the United States, even to this day, not to the same extent, but to this day. I think this is definitely an important read. Anyway, I have needed to take breaks, which is why I've been going on hikes. So today's hike, before I finished this book, has been to a lake that is nearby. And here are some pictures. So this wasn't even the full lake. but it goes all the way, like that's an island in the middle. Now where we parked, we had to walk quite a ways down. I want to see if there's another access road so that it's easier to walk around. There was another little parking spot, but again, like it wasn't going deep in. And then this was the trees on the trail, which it was just absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. So yeah, we did a little hike, took a little break from reading. I was going to read in the car. I was going to read a different book in the car while I was waiting for my son in therapy. But I ended up not getting to it. So hoping I can catch up on some books because I'm behind this week. But yeah, that's been my my thoughts and opinions on this book so far. And like I said, my full review will be on my website, and then when I do my August wrap up, you'll see the stars of what I'm talking about, because it's very heavy, very, very heavy in these themes. And don't get me wrong, like these themes are important to have. They're common, especially if you're reading historical fiction. I wouldn't say abortion necessarily, but colonialism, racism, colorism, other types of bigotry, absolutely. But this was more heavy-handed in the acknowledgement and the trauma that these women are going through. And I thought, while that's absolutely fantastic to recognize, it also hurts my little adoptee soul that she would still continue to sign the adoption papers without talking to her sister. And the whole thing is like, protect the man, but not really protecting the child or the girl, the mother, right? It's always the baby's gonna ruin his life, instead of, I wouldn't even say forcing them to marry, although the girl wants to marry him. And I could see that being problematic. She's 13, the guy is 17. But it's far more than that, right? So, like I said, thoughts and opinions. If you've read this book, let me know what your thoughts are. I'm just struggling sometimes to get back into it, to finish, because of how heavy these topics are. I don't want to say that books should just glance over them. I'm just saying that I think this book is affecting me more in terms of it because of that adoption component. As an adoptee, and if there were trigger warnings, not necessarily to adoption, but to like abortion and to the grape and all that stuff, I think it would be a lot easier to just handle better. But that's just my opinion, and I'll see you guys later.